unfairly in some circumstances as a crasher, but he's just done 28 laps at an average of 98.33 miles an hour. This is how the race was won. Dean Thomas led up into the hairpin. Rob Frost got underneath Jim Moody, and then all hell broke loose as they got into the braking area. Dean Thomas ran a little bit wide. Rob Frost saw his chance and stuffed it straight under Dean Thomas on a wider line. All fair in love and war as far as I'm concerned. 3 abreast down towards the bus stop. Through has gone Jim Moody, ever the opportunist, into second place. But Frosty now had just a lap and a bit to do to take his first win in Supersports. Dean Thomas, very, very unlucky here. Lost the rear end of the motorcycle into Gerrard's, as he had a few laps ago. This time, though, no save for Thomas and more bruises. So the Australian, very unlucky. Dean Thomas, dejected and battered, waits for the pickup truck to take him back to pit lane, and he can only reflect on what might have been. And what is the case, Rob Frost took his first win in the British Supersport Series from Jim Moody, the series leader, and Howard Whitby, a fine third. McCarthy, only fourth for him. Claire caught up with an ecstatic Rob Frost.
Best race of my life, yeah, without a doubt. That was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Just couldn't have worked out better, really. You know, had a bit of bad luck and then a bit of good luck, and you just got to make the most of the good luck, ain't you? To say you gave 110% out there would be an understatement. A bit of paintwork on your bike there from Dean Thomas, I'm sure. I'm sure, yeah. He was pretty determined. It wasn't easy keeping him behind, but the Yamaha's brilliant, you know, with the Dunlop tyres and the white power suspension. It was just a perfect package. You're completely overwhelmed. It's about time that you had this kind of victory, because we've seen some really good performances of you. You're getting better and better, aren't you? Yeah, I had a bit of bad luck earlier in the day in the Superstock race. You know, I thought I was on for a podium there, and the back market just ruined that. So yeah, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it was good for most of the time. It was probably best where I was at the front, where I couldn't see anything, you know. But when they got involved with me, yeah, it was definitely hectic, and I would definitely like to have won it in different circumstances, maybe still tried, but at the end of the day I really want to try and get the championship now. When you all went in on that hairpin in the same line, I just couldn't watch. It was so scary. Well, I knew somebody had snagged with me on the inside, and I just felt if I tried to tip into the corner, whoever snagged with me and me are going to go down, because obviously if he's snagged, he's not been able to use full control of his brakes, and I just had to set up. It was at the end of the day, first was nice, but it was more important to get 20 points than not get any at all. They were paint swapping all the way through the race. I don't know exactly what were going on right up at front. I think Jim was just trying to do as little as he could to win the race.
Whatever he was doing, he did enough. He's now 30 points in front of McCarthy in second place. Dean Thomas's crash means he will have no chance at a title shot. Richards is fourth, Whitby fifth, Vermeulen, Brogan and Frost round out the top 8. Howard Whitby, what a boy. He managed to get a drop on the race winner, Rob Frost. Rob Frost, obviously inexperienced at this, but he'll get used to it. If you're a British Superbike race fan, Mallory Park was like heaven. What's in store in race 2 of the Superbikes today? Race 1 was an absolute cracker, Julian. I cannot imagine what they can bring up for us this time round. So then, under starters orders, you get a chance to answer that in a moment. Bit of adjustment there from Chris Walker on his right handlebar. Chris Walker revving like mad. That's what your right hand's for sure. Chris Walker gets a... that looks like Hayden getting a bit of a wheelie on there, but going backwards. Looks like Plater's got a good start on 22 as well, but it's Walker who leads. As usual. Yes, from Reynolds, though. Reynolds got a much better start in race 2 than he did in race 1, so Reynolds has slotted in second place. On bike number 3, behind him is number 4, Neil Hodgson. Then it's Hayden on 5, 22 on the Kawasaki is of course Steve Plater, and that's 31 Michael Rutter that's in there as well, the level 3 Yamaha. So a better start from Rutter. He started from pit road last time. He did indeed. After a snap chain on the warm-up lap. It's Walker that leads at the S's, and the sun comes down on us here as we look up from the hairpin. Walker from Reynolds. John Reynolds is right up for this. He looked almost out of control there. It comes out about John Reynolds. Still third is Neil Hodgson. So Hodgson with a 6-point lead in the series. Bear that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Remember what the difference is in the championship at the moment. It's up to 6 points now after race 1. 16 goes through that shaky burn. Let's take another look at the start, and this is Chris Walker to our left. As we look, is David Jeffries going backwards. To our right is 22. That is Steve Plater. There is Hodgson, and just look at the jump he gets on everyone else. Walker Hooker is absolutely remarkable. I actually had someone watching for me down there to try and see what he did above everybody else, and they actually said he doesn't actually get rolling that much quicker than anyone else. His reactions time's the same, but somehow he gets the bike to hook up better than anybody else after 2 or 3 yards on.
And you shouldn't be able to do that on the GSX against the Ducati, should you?
You reckon, but I can only imagine it's clutch operation.
But he does it, he never fails to get the whole shot. Now
yeah, there's Steve Plater. Steve Plater on the Kawasaki. He's in 5th place at the moment. So Plater, well, he got a 5th place, I think, in race 1 today. Certainly his qualifying times were good, but look at John Reynolds. John Reynolds is right there with Chris Walker. He's looking for a bit of a challenge. There is Steve Plater out on his own a little bit, giving himself a chance to warm up a bit. Paul Young, jump start penalty. So we have Michael Rudder on the level 3 Yamaha with a problem in race 1. Paul Young, his teammate, with a problem in race 2. Big flames out of Chris Walker, straight in the face there as we come into the hairpin of John Reynolds. John Reynolds still 2nd place on bike 3, the Red Bull Ducati.
And he knows he's got to win, doesn't he? He's going to maintain.
Let's take another look at these flames as they come back into the face of John Reynolds. It doesn't put him off. It looks good for our camera, though, as it melts the leads. So that's round the right-hander of the hairpin, bottom gear. This is the bus stop. We're on lap 6 of 28. Down Devil's Elbow, 3rd gear, 4th gear, up into 5th gear now, flat out, only 130 odd miles an hour along this straight, very short straights, not big top speed here, only 47 second laps, and we look at number 6, Sean Emmett getting under John Crawford, does he? Oof. Only just. So John Crawford, teammate on the National Tyre Suzuki 2, of course the race leader Chris Walker.
And a good race
back.
to 6th place.
Look at Reynolds. Go on, John. Go on, John boy. On the brakes. I'd love to see little John Reynolds do another, win another race. I have to say, he's not won one since right at the beginning of the season.
But he never gives up, that man, does he? He never gives up. Now look at Hodgson in 3rd. Number 4. Oh, and he's lost a place to James Hayden. Hayden has come through. Walker fends off Reynolds.
Dear me, what is this about? Bus stop time then. So the Red Bull Ducati squad alive here. John Reynolds, he won a race, the first race of the season. He won one in the next round at Donington Park. Then he moved on to a win at Snetterton. So John Reynolds has been a winning man.
And Hayden now looking to get past his teammate, having dealt with Hodgson. Plater's still in touch on the Kawasaki in 5th, and it's Emmett.
This is not good at all for Neil Hodgson back there at the moment. So Neil Hodgson in 4th place. He's losing points, hands over fist, and here comes Reynolds. Reynolds looking at the inside. Hayden bounces up the inside of John Reynolds, and the S is almost.
Dear me, 3 abreast into the S's. I don't think that'll fit.
Then you think right. Up to the hairpin then. Still Chris Walker keeping his nose clean and out of trouble at the moment. If you can see what's going on behind him, he'd be scared.
Well, it's 3 Ducatis beating each other up big time at the moment.
And a Kawasaki looking to get a chunk out of him as well. Back there in 5th place.
And then there's a very big gap back to Sean Emmett on the Honda. On
the Travis Perkins Honda, riding good though round here. Top speed, not that much in need as we come under the Mobile Bridge down into the braking area. Gerrard used to be a big bump in there. Looks like he smoothed it out to me as we're looking back from Chris Walker, the race leader, into the eyes of John Reynolds from Nottingham. John Reynolds really does want another win here. He needs it away. As well. He was a series leader for such a long time. He's just slipping back down. Good drive from the Ducati again, as we saw from Hodgson. He's gone through. Reynolds has gone through. At the end, no, he hasn't. He ran a bit wide. I tell you what, talk about camera angles fooling us.
Now then,
mind you, Chris Walker will be aware of what's going on.
Look at Hayden on the brakes.
Yeah, but where's Reynolds gone? That's where I want to know. He must be on the outside here, and we can't see. Oh, there he is. Hello, John.
Oh dear.
We're at the. We're at the
time to wave then.
Down. Dropping down the hill at Devil's Elbow. It is a bit of a devil to get out of quick as well. Onto the front straight, the Kirkby straight. And here we go again. John looking again at the inside of Chris Walker.
Hodgson's bike making all sorts of shapes.
Well, Neil Hodgson riding it hard on the brakes into Gerrard's corner, but this is the place where the Ducatis get good drive on the exit of Gerrard's corner. It's a long corner. The Suzuki just lacking a little bit. Certainly as we get into the race, we might find that the bike lacks a little bit in grip. Yeah, Hayden had us fooled last time round, if you remember, just there.
Twice, then.
And Hodgson's right there, but look at Plater. Plater in 5th place on bike 22 on the Kawasaki's right there too. So we've got National Tyre Suzuki leading 2 Red Bull Ducatis from an INS GSE Ducati in 4th place of Neil Hodgson, and then the Kawasaki Works bike, the ZXR of Steve Plater, right on the back. I held my breath for a minute there.
He deserves a rostrum sometime this year, surely.
Oh, Steve Plater, definitely. No one deserves it more than him, except perhaps Neil McKenzie a few more times.
Crawford in front of Emmett to lead the pursuers now.
There it is. Crawford in 6th place, but really those guys are way out of it. It's these 5 that this race is all about. Still it is. Yep, the man himself. Can he?
The stalker,
Yeah,
being stalked.
Indeed.
Big time.
By 4 people.
Mass stalked.
It's got to be about whether he can
stalked?
keep his tyre together. There's an analogy to that I won't go into.
That might happen in a minute.
It might do, as we come up towards the hairpin. It is still Walker from Reynolds, from Hayden, from Hodgson, from plate to plate, getting a good drive there out of that hairpin. No way past Hodgson yet, though.